Yesterday, we saw a little bit of a pullback coming from the stock market. Bitcoin and crypto still did hold up. There's a couple of coins that put in a nice little bounce. Those were coming off of some of the key levels that we spoke about yesterday, pulling back into those golden pockets. We got a little bit of a reaction out of there. The question is, do bulls have what it takes to continue to rally this higher? What sort of weekend are we going to have? Are we going to have a trap scenario? Smash the like button. A lot of things to discuss in today's video. And most specifically, I want to discuss, of course, how you can succeed in these current market conditions. I'm sure a lot of you are wondering what's the secret, right? We'll discuss that in today's show. Smash the like button. Let's get straight into the show content. Look at this. Very, very unpredictable market when you talk about random things like this. AIA, Filecoin, things like that. ICP, big moves over there. Of course, we've got some of them. Zcash up 21% on the day. We're still in that position over here. Now up over 2,000%, right? 2,000% on that trade over there. So at least we have, one of the major winners that are just going parabolic in this absolutely weird market. I want to discuss, what you should be looking at, what you should be doing in terms of trying to really win, right? Because it just seems like the majority of people are not winning. And I'm also very curious. I need you guys to answer this poll because we're going to change it out midstream over here. If you just go through to the top, let's pause that over there. If you go through to the top, what percentage of your portfolio is currently exposed to the market, meaning the capital that you have allocated for crypto, call it trading, investing, whatever it is you want to label it, what percentage is in the market? So when I ask that question, it's like, are you in USDT or are you exposed into something that has volatility in it, meaning you're holding a particular coin? So it seems 48% of you have voted 80 to 100%. Everybody go and vote over there. 15% of you voted. You have 60 to 80% of your capital exposed. 11% of you have voted. You have 30 to 60% of your capital in the market, which basically from this we can deduce it's the majority of you in the market, right? At least 75% of you have more than 30% in the market, with at least half of you are basically all in. Is this correct? Vote over there. Let me know in the comments if you want to elaborate as well. What we'll do midstream while everyone votes, we'll revisit this. We're going to change this out just now. Not yet, hardest. I'll let you know when. We're going to change this out in a moment where I want to discover those of you that are in this 26% bunch that have said under 30%. We're going to break that down a little bit further because unfortunately I can only put 4 different poll options at a time. So let's get through that information. Smash the like button. Let's go, guys. I did drop as well yesterday in the Whale Room Discord. We're looking at a couple of different trade scenarios, which if you watch the live videos, you got the value of the information over here. You just didn't have the exact chart set up, but we're looking at Bitcoin possibly coming down and sweeping that $101,000 level that was into your 0.618 fib, possibly a little bit lower, below $100,000 into the $99,800 region. For Ethereum, we're looking at 3,200. For Hyperliquid, we're looking at $37.80. And we can fast forward to that hit, right? Target hit, price bounce. That's on Bitcoin. ETH missed. Target did not hit on ETH, it missed. Hyperliquid, target hit, and price bounced, right? So you've recovered the Monday low over there. This is a good trade. If you took this one over here, move your stops to break even. And now it's really do or die. Bulls need to strike back, and they need to strike back fast, very, very, very quickly, because even in the stock market, you started to get a little bit of a pullback over there. So breaking below that candle that occurred on Wednesday, which I said, for me personally, that would be a major level that I'd want to see hold, because this is your SR flip. Your previous resistance flipping into support. It is possible you can recover today, get a little bit of a spike up, but at the end of the day, this is starting to show weakness. It is starting to show weakness over here. So you need some follow through. Otherwise, things can start to unravel very, very, very quickly. We'll look at as well, gold, silver. Gold still very strong, but I think it's worthwhile to pay attention as you come up into some of these levels for a possible, let's call it a head short, right? I don't want to call it like we're going to make bank on the short trade, but at least a little bit of a head short coming into this region over here. If you start to set a little bit of a lower high, which is not yet, stay patient on this. It might only come next week or even the week after that, but a move up over here, any weakness that comes into this candle over here, we're looking for some sells, right? We're going to short that to make a little bit of profit. and we'll be taking that trade on BTCC. There's a link below if you want your sign-up deposit bonus. Next one is silver. I think this will also be a really good short trade coming into this region over here, but we must see weakness first before we go short, because the weekly actually could still look really bullish. If we reposition on silver onto the weekly, that's what the weekly looks like, right? Right now, that looks bullish. It looks like it could go parabolic. So you have a little bit of a conflicting data between the dailies and the weeklies, and therefore we must see the rejective candles taking place into this golden pocket. So keep it on your watch list. Open up your BTCC account so long so that when the time comes, we can pull the trigger. They're giving you a massive bonus over here, 40% off. That's probably the biggest part of the bonus. It's not the upfront bonus that is life-changing, right? The upfront bonus is 10% on top of whatever you deposit. But the 40% reduction on trading fees using that link is going to save you a hoard of money in the long run. So use that link, click over there on YouTube video if you want to see how to claim that bonus. That is for BTCC. Quick look at some of the other things that are in Magnificent 7. I just want to have a look at Apple. Okay, it's okay, pulling back a little bit there, but nothing too serious. NVIDIA actually came down quite hard. Can you guys believe it? I lost out on this trade over here. We actually went short in whale room on this. For those of you that have been in the Zooms, you'll know it. And I unfortunately closed it for 1% profit because I was saying that, you know, NVIDIA is consolidating at the highs. But nevertheless, look at the trade setup. We've been doing this live in real time on the YouTube shows over here. And anyone can go back if you want the receipts. And that was our take profit, right? Look at that, our take profit. Exactly at the top. And then I did flip short, but I'm always fully transparent with you guys. I ended up bailing out of the short trade for only like 2% profit because I thought it's taking too long to drop. But the idea was right? Great trade over there. The one that we didn't close though, that we are still holding and we're making bank on is MicroStrategy. That one I didn't close. I'm still holding this. And I said I'm not going to close this. So since the initial entry over there, MicroStrategy is officially down 22.39%. Really great trade over there. Let's have a look at some of the others. What's Tesla doing? Tesla's okay, just chopping about. Anything above range high over here is a good sign. There is a bit of inefficiencies that like scam wicks can come into, but high time frame Tesla looks okay. Meta's absolutely tanking. Look at that, absolutely unreal, still coming down. Big sell-off over there. Google still looking okay. Microsoft, I think, was coming down. You're going to find support at the 200 moving average. The reason that we look at this is because remember the Magnificent 7 drives the overall stock market. So it holds a massive weighting in terms of what the S&P 500 is going to do. So sometimes it's good to look at these things because it gives you an early lead, a little bit of a clue as to what may come next. Similar to this comment over here, right? MicroStrategy down equals bear market. MicroStrategy is the canary in the coal mine, which we've spoken about months in advance, right? We spoke about the weakness that's over there and why you want to maintain a bit more of a cautious approach. We have Amazon coming into the gap over here to fulfill some of that unfilled space. So look for a little bit of support over here. If most of the Magnificent 7s begin to turn down, unfortunately, that is going to take the stock market down with it. Coinbase obviously getting absolutely smashed. Back into key support over here. Vital that you see a reaction out of this zone. Otherwise, you know, this is potentially a complacency pump. There you go. You have the high complacency pump. If you start to maintain underneath 300, we consider that bearish and we will have to target some of these low regions like 215. And if you break below that, that's not going to be looking good. Circle, we've expressed why we're not long on Circle multiple times and even expressed the opportunity for short trades. And since then, it's down only. My target is as low as $25. This is just a side bet that I have with someone for like $5,000. So hopefully I win that 5K. Robinhood also taking out some critical key levels. So this is where you need to be really careful. And that's what I wanted to say, right? I promise you, this is the only way to win in crypto. The only way to win in crypto, let's just give you the spoiler alert. What is the secret to success? It's risk management. I know it's not what you want to hear, but some more practical things that you can do to succeed. And I've said this time and time again for months and months and months, pretty much the whole of 2025, is do not hold a basket of too many different things. That's the answer. Maintain your finger on the pulse of the trades that you're in, meaning less than 5, a handful of different coins. Just hold a couple of different coins That way, you can literally study the chart. You can keep your finger on the pulse. You lose sight of what you're holding when you have too many positions. It's too difficult to manage. Most of you have other things going on in life. I saw somebody saying, hey, bro, please go live. I start work in 48 minutes. Don't worry, it will be done before you start work. But people have things going on. They have work, they have careers, they have families. You have all sorts of different stuff. The easiest way for you to not get nailed in the market is because you're holding less positions, which means all you have to do is monitor those trends, high highs and high lows. It's as easy as that. Always easier said than done because your emotions get in the way and you listen to too many people. That's also your problem. But one way you can solve this is stay concentrated not only in the mind, but also in the number of coins and positions, stocks, whatever it is that you're trading. Do not hold too many things. You are going to get absolutely rinsed. You forget about them and things turn down, and then before you know it, it's down 99% and you didn't even realize, right? So that's my sound non-financial advice disclaimer that I'm putting into today's video. We have a few golden nuggets still coming up, so don't leave, don't go anyway. Let's talk about Bitcoin, cryptos. Where are things at? Well, bulls have a chance. The pendulum always swings from bears to bulls and bulls back to bears, and so this is the nature of price action. But bulls have a lot of work to do and time is running out. And I've been saying that for weeks and weeks and weeks now. And time is really, really, really running out. If bulls cannot take back control now in November, unfortunately, then you have to say that there's a very, very good chance that it's truly over and we're going to be distributing. The long to short ratio, very neutral. No one wants to choose the direction. Let's actually review our poll and see what's going on with these final people. So these are the numbers they're in. Let me quickly take a screenshot of that. So I have it. There we go. This is going to be proof of receipt. Basically, what I deduce from this is that, people obviously want the hopium case because they majority exposed. 50% of you have 80 to 100% of your capital in the market. This is heavy exposure. I hope from those 50% of you that have said that you have your finger on the pulse of the positions that you exposed within, right? So if you don't, the one realistic step that you can take right now is begin consolidating. How do you consolidate practically? Let's say you hold a whole bunch of rubbish. You hold like 20 different coins. Go and look at the charts, assess the charts, and look for the things that look most probable to recover. Take those 20 rubbish coins and begin selling them into the one or two things that look probable for recovery. I'm not saying exit into USDT because at this point, if you've experienced drawdown, you need some level of exposure to make it back, right? If you are down, I'm assuming of those people, maybe you're down, right? Because Bitcoin is like over 20% off the highs. So I have to make that assumption. So what you need to do, and this goes for, I guess, these guys as well, anyone that's voted with any of this, the same principle is going to be true. Take those positions, consolidate them into things that look like they hold strength. Of course, every single day I'm looking for opportunities over here for you guys within the market as per, these trades. Like these are the things for that week that look strong. So if I give you the buy levels, that's kind of the way that you can handle it, right? You bail those positions into here and then take the trade and become a more active trader within this type of market, because anyone that's a long-term investor here is getting absolutely rinsed. And that has been the thesis, right? Remember 2023, the end of 2022 coming into 2023 bottom, it was really a buy and hold strategy. It was allocate massive amounts into the market with spot and just ride the trend. And then as of 2025, we said that this is probably going to be absolute hell for investors. And I don't want to use the word which a lot of people throw around, paradise for traders. Not paradise for traders. Traders got rinsed as well. I know a lot of them. A lot of people that round tripped, went from low portfolio sizes, 10, 20,000 up to $1 million plus. Those guys gave it all back. People that I know personally, everything back to zero. Starting all over again, right? So I don't want to say it's traders' paradise, but it's been a little bit better for traders. So that's one thing that you can look at. So consolidate, consolidate, consolidate. That is the message. That's what you need to do, because timing-wise, we've reached the timing end. Yes, maybe Bitcoin puts in new highs, but it would become an extended cycle. And have we ever had an extended cycle? No. So what makes you think that this time is going to be different? Now, that's where we can hardest put in the new poll. Let's put in the new poll over there. We're asking the same question. Just read it again. This is more specifically for those of you that voted under 30%. We now want to break those levels down a little bit further to decipher, you know, the percentages of those 30%, right? So we'll review this in a bit. Okay, cool. Hardest, you're putting that in. Let's go through the list over here. 24, market's still very fearful, rightfully so. We have liquidations over the last 24 hours under $1 billion, still relatively low. A little bit of hopium over here. This is still turning a corner. That's a good sign. If bulls can step up now for a strong weekly close, it's going to be vitally important. I'm going to show you why in multiple different charts. But if they can do that, that's going to be a really good sign that there is some recovery in place. We've seen multiple days and weeks of outflows from the ETFs. These guys tend to sell late and form bottoms, which means this could paint a picture that you're very close to forming a bottom. So if we have a look at this over here, and I'll highlight the area previously. If we look at this area over here, so see what this looks like over here, right? Lot of inflows, distribution begins to take place. You said in the top, extreme outflows, and a couple of inflows, more outflows, couple of inflows, more outflows. What does price do? It forms a bottom. So that's why we're lining all these things up. Now we can go to the more recent price action, extreme inflows, distribution. So this bottoming process can take a while, but hopefully bulls can strike back over here. That's exactly what we want to see from them. And there is also economic data that's coming out today, so please do pay attention to that. This could drive the next move. High impact stuff, initial jobless claims, non-farm payrolls coming out. This could be the catalyst for the next move. I think as long as you took these trades over here, you can eliminate your risk, as per what I said to @Wellroom. You know, definitely still work to be done from the bulls, but if you did take the long, take off about 10% to cover any losses in case your stop gets hit. I said I'm opting for over here, taking small profits, but leaving the stops at the same place, because price can easily come back down there, given the incoming volatility from these high impact data events, which is going to be today. So what are we looking at, right? First and foremost, vitally important that we see some sort of a reaction probably today off of that economic data. And if we don't, if you're still hanging around here, it's not going to be good. Why? Well, because you keep coming into the midline of the Gaussian channel in the 5-day time frame. And remember, we can line that 5-day time frame up with this as well. What did I speak about? I said that what you really want to see is that you get a swing failure pattern. You didn't get it. You haven't got a swing failure pattern. Look at that. Where this 5-day candle is now officially closed below 103,516 with confirmed expansion of volatility, which tells you that a real move is currently underway. And right now, the real move is happening towards the downside. Unfortunately, guys, I know that a lot of you are long here and in spot, but right now it's happening towards the downside. And we spoke about this yesterday. I think maybe I did this in @Wellroom, so maybe you didn't get that message. But we spoke about, you know, there's two scenarios. One is you either recover, bounce over here, deviate, and then run up maybe for this high if you're lucky. Or if you can't get back above here very soon, then you're going to come down for this $88,900 region, which is going to be your next support zone. So by, you know, buying in now, if you haven't entered into the market and you decided, hey, you know what, I'm buying spot over here right now today, well, your risk is that this rolls over. Whereas, you know, if you just waited patiently, you could just wait for a candle to reclaim over here on a high time frame, which would then recontract the volatility over here and say that maybe there's a little bit of breathing room taking place. So back to the Gaussian channel, a lot of times that you've knocked into this midline over here, and if you don't reclaim this very soon, a lot of the times this is where things begin to roll over. Look at 2021. Well, you came into it the first time, held the midline, rallied back up, but as soon as you started to close under it, at that point it was over, right? Bear market came next. I also often look at the angle of whatever it is, the momentum oscillator, the angle of the exponential moving average, whatever support structure you're looking at, and the angle over here was pretty similar to now, but the difference is the Gaussian channel had spread a lot more at that point in time. Here it's quite tight. You've hit it 1, 2, 3, 4 times. If you're treating this like a trend line, usually by the 4th time, it starts to weaken. So basically what I'm saying is be careful, be careful. Again, you need things to rally very soon because as well, your RSI as of right now on the weekly scale is hanging around at these lows. And I would give it another week at the absolute most. If you haven't rallied out of here within a week's time, this is probably going to break down. This is where all the major bottoms have occurred around that 44, 44, 44, and 44 on the RSI level. And you don't spend very long at that 44 level before bouncing back and recovering. So if bulls are going to make their move, they need to do it absolutely ASAP, right? MACD still rolling over. 2-week MACD still rolling over as well. Let's just see for the timing. So on the 2-week scale, you got 2 days and 17 hours left to go to confirm that. 3-week scale, you have 9 days and 17 hours left to go. But if it closes here or lower, that's a bearish cross. Very, very, very bad sign, right? Things are beginning to roll over at that point in time. So key support, it's still here. You have to line it up with the low time frame trades. That's the only way that you can execute right now when it comes to these things, and you're waiting for the recovery back above that yellow line. If we follow a bullish case scenario, I believe this is your safe entry. For those of you that are scared in the market, this is your safe entry. Your safe entry is wait for price to rally all the way up, probably reject from the mid-range, set in another lower high. Your previous lower high is 116,300. Wait for the throwback to retest this as support. And if you can do that successfully, this will allow you to allocate into the high-low. And then you can also study based off of this price move. I'm going to highlight it. If you do get this move, you can study, hey, what does the volume do? The volume will tell you the story. The volume will tell you if it's a trap or not. If the volume remains low, like it has been throughout here with this kind of a price rally, that tells you, hey, any spot that I have, it's probably a good exit over here. Okay, so excuse me, I said the previous lower high is at 116. I meant this one over here. So that's what you want to clear to break that structure. Okay, let's go back to our poll. So this is now for those of you, which it shouldn't be all of you that are voting now. Otherwise, you know, you're flip-flopping over here. It's only for the people that voted 30% in the previous poll. So what percentage of your portfolio, for those of you that voted the 30%, is currently in the market? 20 to 30%, 10 to 20%, 1 to 10%, or 0%? What is your allocation? And this broadens that story for us, right? How does it broaden the story? It tells us, again, most people are still max exposed. That's what it's telling us, because of all of you that have voted, it's again only 19-20% that are fully out the market. And remember, this is of that amount, which probably puts it at like 1 to 2% of people are out. The rest are all in or heavily exposed. Go and vote there. Vote there. Smash the like button, guys, while you're at it. We're on 77. Good number. Smash the like button over there. Let's continue. So we'll look for new trade opportunities today as well. We'll talk about that. But I think that you need to really assess what happens over here, because if price cannot rally, you know, now in the next couple of days, what will this begin to look like? Okay. If you go sideways like this, what does that look like to you guys? Let's see. Let's check over here. Let's see how sharp you guys are today. Just look at that chart and tell me what you would see if you don't rally soon and get back above like 104, 105. I'm waiting for your comments over here. There's about a 5 or 10 second delay. So let's quickly get those in. There we go. First person through the gates is Mike. Bear flag. Exactly. If you cannot rally out of here, what does this begin to look like? It begins to look like a bear flag. No volume, nothing. The price only has one way to go. At that point, it's going to drop again. And then that's where some of these other targets come into play. Where is that charter was? Yeah, this one over here, 5-day, right? That's where this next target comes into play, which is going to be around that sub 90K zone. So again, we're just looking at the charts. This is reality. You have to face it. Part of life, facing reality. So if you're bullish, what you want to see is an immediate recovery. You want to see price rally up hard over here very, very, very soon. Anything that does rally up and rejects from this as underside resistance, of course, is just your next lower high. High, lower high, lower high, lower high. What is the most probable outcome? Guys, that's the most probable outcome, because the trend is your friend. That is the most probable outcome, is you're going to rally and you're going to reject. I'm, of course, hopeful that that won't happen. I'd much prefer the market goes up. I'd much rather see that throw back into here, hold it as support, we go long again, and everything is great. And I'm of course looking for any scenario that I can for bulls to win over here, because we did hit all of the metrics that we were looking at and studied on this chart, right? We got that stuff. It all played out. But the only way that I'm doing this, and this is tying into the title, I promise you that this is the only way to win in crypto right now, is to maintain control of your capital and take the best trade on each given day. And the best trade for yesterday were these three. So if you took it, it was, Ethereum obviously missed that level. Bitcoin hit the level. That was the trade. You're immediately in profit. Now you need to break that 50 EMA on the 1 hour, and we're going to have a look at that in a bit. And then Hyperliquid was the other good trade. Zcash, we're already obviously in the trade. So there's nothing to do there. I'm not going to add any more into this position. What I have is what I have. I'm in the position. I'm up a lot. In fact, incrementally still taking profits. The more crazy this gets, the more I'm going to just keep shaving, like 5% at a time, 5% at a time. Like every couple of 100% up that this goes, I just keep taking 5% over there. Okay, cool. So you guys know what is going on over here. You know what you need to look for. You, of course, want price to recover also back above this RSI pivot level, which means your daily RSI is still coming down. You do still have this expanding megaphone pattern that's taking place over here, which just tells you that wild volatility can come into the market. So if bulls can take control of some of those low time frame pivot levels, then maybe you can swing back to the equilibrium, which is your mid-range over here at 116. Who knows, maybe even make it back to the top over here. But when you see a pattern like this, just know this: these things are dangerous, right? These things are dangerous to trade, and it creates wild swings in emotions and volatility, and that's what we're seeing within the market. So my go-to chart in this environment is the USDT dominance. That's it. This is my go-to chart. We've been following it on the daily time frame with the ascending triangle that we warned you was probably going to lead to a breakout and possibly send price to 5.87, and we got it. We nailed it, right? Anyone that says that we didn't, check yourself before you wreck yourself. Okay, that's my advice to you. Always non-financial as well. Non-financial advice. So what I'm looking at over here is on the low time frames, like the hourly and the 4 hourly, you had that beautiful rejective candles that occurred over here, which opens up the chance that, maybe this is your lower high. If this is your lower high, that's the bull case, because if this goes down and can start to break below some of these key levels, it's going to look good. Your low time frames will always turn before the high time frames, but the low time frames give a lot of noise. So you need to be careful over there. So I'm just monitoring each step at a time. And I think that what you can probably move this arrow to now, this was the level that we said we wanted taken out. I'm almost willing to raise this bar, which means raising the bar gives us an earlier opportunity to change our ideas, right? So I'm almost willing to put it over there. I'm going to give the benefit of the doubt and leave this at 5.29% now and say that if you can break down and take out those lows, those high lows, break down, take out those high lows, you're going to bounce off the 50 EMA. But I think that might be enough to roll this over. And if this rolls over and breaks down like this, that's going to be bullish, right? Then these long trades are going to play out. The long trades that we've given are going to play out, and there's going to be a repricing back towards the upside. That would be what you need to see for bulls to take back control immediately. So if you want to know, are bulls taking back control immediately, just put on the USDT dominance chart and watch that chart, because this is going to tell you the full story. Of course, if we start to put in some high lows over here, so this is your high low, if you start to turn over here in the next few hours and begin to trade back up over here, brutal, more pain. And I guess the driver of all of this is probably going to come down to initial jobless claims and the non-farm payrolls and unemployment rate that's all coming out later today. All right. So this is the event that you want to watch. So that is 5:30. I think this is set to my time, 5:30 my time. I'm in the UAE. Put it on your watch list, right? That's going to be much later. It's around the US market open. And that's going to coincide as well with the stock market. So if the stock market has a big up day after this down day, it's all going to be due to that. Does the government shutdown ever end? I mean, eventually it will. Yes, eventually it will. So again, I actually want to bring that up. The government shutdown. This is very, very, very important, because when the government shutdown actually happens, it's also going to be interesting in terms of price. So if we look at this overall chart on the daily time frame for Bitcoin, and we say that, this is the major top so far. This. Let's get our highlighter tool. This is where your all-time high has occurred over there. So if the government shutdown happens, excitement does come back into the market. I don't know if it is, but if excitement does come back into the market and the government shutdown begins to get priced in, price rallies up, but it can't get back above and sustainably close above 116K, then this may be your complacency bounce. Okay, that will be an opportunity. So if the excitement and energy that comes back into the market can't get you closing back above here, this is really what you need to see, a recovery back above that 116 to flip things back up. That becomes a big warning sign, and it will reflect in the volume chart as well. But if you don't want to figure it out on your own, it's very simple. Just come and watch the show each and every day. I'm basically here 6 days a week, absolutely grinding for you guys for a long time. Okay, cool, guys. So we have got slightly negative deltas over here showing you that there is a chance for a bit of a short squeeze. Therefore, basically just hold on to these longs. If you took these trades with us yesterday, stops go to break even. We'll review those as well in a moment. We got some liquidity on the upside. It's quite decent for a daily amount, but it's not that far away from price over here, 15.56 million. Let's quickly see what's going on over here on the weekly. Also, a lot of liquidity building up on the weekly. We'll see if it continues like this. Quite far away though, but we'll see if that continues. So just reviewing these charts, these are the trades that we gave yesterday, saying the key levels that we expect to hit. So let's have a look at this. Monitor it on these low time frames. I think, I told the whale members coming into this 50 EMAs where I'd shave a little bit of profits. So if you did that, that's fine. You can leave your stop in the same place. Initial stops were placed over here. Initial stops were below those lows. So now you can start to raise those stops. And I would say I'd place those stops somewhere over here just to decrease some of the risk. Maybe you'll have a little bit of a trend line that begins to form over here. And the hopeful case for the bulls is going to be that you can just slowly grind it out and form an ascending triangle. So you're looking for something like this. You're looking to slowly grind it out, into, this is going to be Saturday, coming into Sunday, maybe by Monday somehow. You have this ascending triangle, and then you can break out and recover, and that becomes like a big deviation. That's what you're waiting for. That's going to be the hopeful case. But remember, the trend is still down, which means this could easily turn into a bear flag. Do you see that? Start breaking that down, bear flag, and then you have to target the yearly open. So I'm just giving you both cases, right? Both sides of the coin, both scenarios, and I'll take the shorts as well when it's applicable. Right now, the plan was to take the long trades coming into the golden pocket or that super fib retracement all the way back down into these wicks. So the first level hit, we took the trade, price came up. Of course, you don't want to take out these low stops are over there, right? ETH, as Cyclone says, toxic price action, it's difficult. It is difficult, but we're making it as easy as possible for you guys. Next one. So the logical thing that you want to see on the hourly is at least a recovery over here of these 50 EMAs. So same story on that's BTC. Let's go back to ETH. Same story over here on Ethereum. It's exactly the same thing. You have a little bit of a trend that's beginning to form over here. Maybe I'll just use this trend line over here. You have a little bit of a trend maybe that's starting to form. Keep an eye on that. Hopefully you can maintain that trend. Stops were down here at like 3,000. I would say that it makes sense now to elevate those. This one you would have missed. It never hit the level, but if you just so happen to be in the trade, I would have my stops just below there. Okay, Hyperliquid. This is one of the better looking ones in terms of the setup of what we got. So also a little bit of a trend that's trying to form over there. You've recovered the Monday low. Prices right now fighting to get back above the 50 EMA. Stops that were down here can now be elevated below there. Okay. All right. Cool. What else? Let's see. Also, for those of you that do want to take the short-term trades, by the way, guys, they've extended their campaign. This is with BitUnix. It's the most attractive campaign in crypto right now, which is giving you if you deposit $2,000, they're giving you $400. So there's no, it's until the 8th of November, as you can see over here. So time's running out. If you do want to participate in that, it's literally as simple as that. Literally just use the link below. This is only for you guys. I arranged it especially since we started a campaign with them. You put in $2,000, they're going to give you $400. Easiest 20% you'll ever make in your life. Cool. We can have a look at a bunch of the other coins that have started to move and see if there's any kind of a trade over here. I'm just going to look at this on the high time frame. I mean, this is going to be a rug. 𝗕𝗓𝗔𝗧𝗨𝗥𝗘𝗏. 𝗕𝗓𝗔𝗧𝗨𝗥𝗘𝗏. Let's just see. I want to look at this on if there's perps for this. This will provide a short trade opportunity for you guys. So here it is, perpetuals. All right, so there are perps that are available. There's on Bybit. That's one of the places that you can have a look at that. And it is AIA. AIA. We'll have a look at this one over here. AIA. Okay. USDT. Yeah, I mean, in my opinion, this will be a short trade for sure. It's just a question of when. So it's absolutely pumping now. It's going parabolic. Give it a bit of time. Give it a bit of time. Maybe it'll heat up a little bit more over the course of today, but this thing is for sure going to be an absolute rug. 24-hour trading volume, 250 million. Market cap, 1.3 billion. And I mean, this is basically like overnight. Like the market cap was 50 million. A couple of days ago, the market cap was 20 million. So I'm pretty sure this thing's going to rug. So if getting caught up in the hype, I do not think this is a buy, just to be clear. Next one, Filecoin. Let's have a look at Filecoin. There's your yearly chart just before you get too excited. So if you can throw back into some of these breakout levels, maybe we'll pull up the chart as well. Okay, Filecoin USDT. Okay, weekly chart, look at that. This is all underside resistance. Everything over there is underside resistance. This will not be bullish unless it actually gets back above this 350. That's what you need to see. You need to see a massive rally, even more than what you've currently seen. You need to see this, throw back, hold it as support. Therefore, that becomes a deviation. So that's another way to win in the market is don't get caught up in the hype of these random things that just, you have to understand the way that the crypto markets work. There's very, very little liquidity in the market right now. When the market goes flat like this and you see a huge drop off in the total liquidations and the overall volume within the market begins to diminish. And we can tell as well over here in terms of what the liquidations look like over a 24-hour period. And this is not that much. Yes, there was even less, which is where these moves were built off of. That means that nobody's taking a side. That means that anyone that comes in with just a bit of money on a coin that's basically dead can pump the thing like 300-400%. With $50,000, you could probably send Filecoin up 100%. That's not that much money. And that's what they're doing. They're trying to orchestrate a rally. They're trying to initiate basically one of the things that has been successful is obviously Zcash. So it probably started off in the same way and it took off. And now they're all trying to do that. That's my guess. That's my speculation of what's going on over here with all of these random things. Okay. All right, cool, guys. Let me have a look at your comments. Let's see if there's any particular requests. Let's review our poll as well before we get into anything else. So reviewing the poll over here, I'm going to screenshot that one as well. So you can see of the people that voted, they at least 30% exposed, which was on the previous poll. That was the lowest option, basically the lowest option. And it was the smallest amount of people that voted there. Of those people, the majority are at least 20 to 30% long. So it just shows you, if you try and work out the numbers, there's very, very, very few people that are, not exposed to the market, which means I know you guys are obviously waiting for the hopium case. And I have given it to you. I've given you the hopium case. Your hopium case is that price bounces off of here on the weekly time frame. This is your 50% level. It's a very clear and important level of support. And you line that up with your RSI, which if you look at yesterday's video, I showed you as well how most of the corrections did bounce out of here. But the more times you hit those levels, the less probable the bounce becomes. And you have to be aware of that. It just becomes more and more risky. So you need to make provision if you do rally up over here and it's weak. So if you do rally up over here and it's weak, you run into this as underside resistance. You have to take action. You realize that. You have to do something about that, because the rejection from this could lead to full distribution. That's the truth. Guys, I'm telling you the truth. The rejection from that level, from this key SR flip, you can see previous resistance, 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 resistance. Eventually you flipped it into support. This becomes significant. All right. So I hope you guys are okay. Let's check your guys' comments over here. What else? Peter looks like a very exciting character in terms of your profile picture there. Being in cash is nice, but it's so boring. You do look like a thrill seeker, so I can believe you on that. All right. Guys, what we'll do is tomorrow I'll do a video where we'll dedicate it like specifically to altcoins. Zcash is pumping, absolutely beautiful. We'll spend a bit more time looking specifically at the altcoin sector. So what I'd ask from you is, when this live stream ends, because only the comments that remain are after the live stream, please go and let me know what chart you want charted and on what time frame as well for tomorrow. Preferably the high time frame, daily, weekly. Let me know as well in the comment section, anyone that spotted something that, starting to look really, really good. I think tomorrow, let's also spend some time on the privacy narrative, because obviously Zcash doing well. Maybe some of the other privacy things will also look good. Let's quickly look at, what is it? XML is Monero, right? Let's see if we just type it in. Will it come up? Here we go. Let's just have a look at Monero on these high time frames here. So Monero is still moving. Some of these privacy coins are still moving. So that's definitely still the narrative for now. I don't want to put you into a narrative late, like as it's ending, but if the trend continues, you can hop into some of these trends. So yeah, just study the chart, at least have the dailies in an uptrend and manage your risk. Understand that you want to have your finger on the pulse. That's really my message for today. Have your finger on the pulse of the market. Don't lose sight of your positioning and what you're exposed to. Don't hold too many coins as well. Rather remain concentrated, focused, and just stay in the game. You got to survive. You got to make it through the difficult times in order to make huge capital in the easy modes, right? So that's the way the market is. It's like a game. You have easy mode, medium mode, hard mode, and extra hard. The market's been in extra hard. So the best thing is to keep a cash position or stay in the coins that are in easy mode and not get caught up in all the different hype things and stuff when it's hard mode like now, and then you get absolutely wrecked. Cool, guys. That's it from me. I'll see you all on the next one. I hope you have a really, really good weekend. We'll see you tomorrow. Remember to put in the comment section which chart you want me to have a look at, and I'll see you tomorrow. Cheers for now.